Hi everyone. If you can hear me, please just say something in the chat. Hello everyone. If you can hear me, you can tell us where you're streaming from. Okay, yes, you can. Nice, great. So where are you streaming from, Victor? And apologies to everyone that we started a little bit late than normal. So you can tell us where you're streaming from. If you're streaming from Nigeria or outside Nigeria, just put it in the comments. Hi, Chikere. I'm not seeing anyone in the comments, so just two people. Oh, from Nigeria, nice. Welcome, Victor. Lucy, once again, I saw some other names before we started streaming. Okay. Oh, great. Ghana, nice, nice. I think Lucy, you're from SA. So wow, so we have different Africans here, which is nice, which is great. Okay, so thank you so much. You can also tell your friends to join. So let's just get into it since we're already taking some time. So welcome everyone to the scholarship room. My name is Esther Abel, and I'm the founder of the scholarship room. And here we basically get scholars to give us insights on how they were able to get that scholarship that we all want. So we hold different sections with scholars. We also deal with some services that have to do with scholarship applications. So basically scholarships. So you can already find most of our videos. If you check our channel, you see a lot of videos with scholars. So make sure you're subscribed, and let's get into today's session. So today we are going to be talking about Arizona State University Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. And I'm particularly excited about this because we are hearing from two scholars, one who is a past scholar and a current scholar. So you get to hear from past experiences, and if you're interested in, oh, how does it feel to study currently now in ESU, you're privileged to hear from a current scholar. So we have Miss Esther Abel, who is a past Mastercard Foundation Scholar, and we also have Janet Bello, who is a current Mastercard Foundation Scholar at ASU. So we're going to be looking at two different perspectives. We'll talk about their journeys, the application process, what they think strengthen their application, and how you yourself can apply it once Arizona State University works. So if you're watching live, stay with us, take notes, and most importantly, don't be shy to put questions down in the chat. So Esther, welcome. It's really great to have you here. Before we get into like the scholarship itself, I'd like us to start with you. So can you like tell us about yourself? Like give us a background about you.
All right. Thank you so much, Esther. I'm your namesake. So I'm Esther Abel. I am from Nigeria. I was a scholar in 2024, 2025. I did the AI in business program. We were the first set to actually do that program in ASU. So back to my undergraduate, I studied information technology from Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Futo, where I graduated with a first class degree, and I worked with an IT company over a year. I also worked with a banking institution, GT Bank to be precise, before I secured my scholarship. Currently, I'm working with Idaho Central Credit Union at Idaho, where I work as the AI product owner for the institution. And so, yeah.
Wow, wow,
Creativity, yeah.
that's a lot. That's interesting. That's interesting. So I just want to ask, I know you said you got a first class. So what made you decide to like go for a postgraduate study? And that particular course even interesting. So like what made you decide on that in the first place?
Oh yeah, so after my undergraduate degree, I'm always interested in learning. I'm someone who loves learning a lot. So I didn't just stop. I participated in a lot of programs and fellowships. So the first one I did was Tech for the Women Textile Fellowship, where I joined the AI, data science and AI track. So that was where I got introduced into AI. That was where I like built my background in AI. And so during that program, I also did like site certification I went for some site certifications and
Wow.
I got a lot of background knowledge. And so when I saw the AI in business from ASU, I decided to apply because I already had like that background knowledge. I remember I did information
Mm.
technology in my undergraduate, so everything was in line. And so I just applied.
Wow, that's really interesting. But like, how did you discover like the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship? Because you already know that a lot of scholarships exist.
Yeah, so back when I graduated 2020, I graduated in 2021. I was like, my a lot of people were always sending me scholarships. That's one thing. So it's just like building your friendship connection with people that really know what you want. And so people will see scholarship like, oh, Esther, I don't think you really need to be in this country. You have a lot, you have like we see a lot of things you do, and we feel like, oh, you should apply for this, you should apply for that. And so I had a lot of people always sending me things. And so the first scholarship I applied for wasn't even Mastercard, it was Mandela um Mandela Rhodes Scholarship. No,
Oh, wow.
I applied for that. I applied for another scholarship in South Africa, which I went for. I traveled to South Africa for the interview. It was fully funded. I secured the scholarship. I got the
Mm.
scholarship. When I came back, they called me like, "You've gotten the scholarship." I was so excited. But then I lost that scholarship because I was supposed to get admission into a school for them to actually give me the like for before I could access the full scholarship. And so when I submitted my applications to schools, I got partial admission and time ran out. And so the scholarship was withdrawn for me. I was so bitter. And then I started sourcing for other scholarships. So I actually applied for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship 2 days before the deadline. It was sent to me by my sister. I was like, I'm not going
Wow.
to apply. I said I won't apply again because I was already devastated from losing the previous one. And so 2 days to the scholarship, she reminded me, they
Yeah.
were like, Esther, have you applied for that Mastercard Foundation Scholarship? I was like, okay, let me try. And so that was
Mm.
how I submitted. I also applied for NDDC scholarship, which I got to the final stage, but I was able to secure the
Mm.
Mastercard Foundation Scholarship before at that point I was like, oh, there's no need even taking this going on with the NDC scholarship. Let me just leave it to someone else and securing it, and then I'm not going to use it. Yeah.
Wow, you're a master scholar, like a three times scholar. That's interesting. That's wow. That is very interesting. NEDC. Wow, we might need to invite you later so I can tell us how you got NEDC. But okay, before I, so the scholarship to eventually like getting the scholarship. How was it for you?
Oh, for me, I think one thing was the waiting period. It's like every day I'm looking at my emails, expecting emails. But then the application process, though, was quite easy for me because before then I had everything. Remember, I said I was already applying for scholarship. So I had everything I wanted. While I was in school, because of my, would I say, my position in class, because I graduated the top of my class. And so I was very close to my lecturers, my professors. So each time I reach out to them for recommendation letter or anything, they are always willing to help. I had my transcript ready. I had like everything ready. I had certifications already. I was involved in a lot of leadership and community projects. I also had my own foundation that I was running. And so everything was always ready to
Wow.
apply. And so the application was easy for me, even though it was like 2 days before the deadline, I just submitted because I had everything ready. And so after that, I think the next process was waiting for the initial screening, just to hear back from them. And so when I passed that phase, I was sent an email to apply to ASU directly to apply for the course, and they gave me a waiver. So because if you are applying to ASU directly, you have to pay for an application fee. But if you're applying through Mastercard, the ASU program, the Mastercard program, they will give you a waiver, a waiver that you can use to apply. So you wouldn't have to pay for that particular course you're applying for. And so I passed the initial screening. I was given that waiver code to use and apply for my admission, which I did. And immediately I secured my admission from the WP Carey. I sent my admission letter directly to the Mastercard Foundation. I was like, oh, I've secured my um, admission. And so I sent it to them, and then I was scheduled for the interview. So for the interview stage, I prepared, I won't lie. Like I took a day off work that particular day. The interview was supposed to be like 35 minutes or so, but I did not even go to work. I was at home, I was rehearsing. And then during the program, I was like, I told my siblings to watch me and see how I was acting and everything. And after the interview, I think I'll talk about the interview later on, but after the interview, I waited. It was like 1 week later, I got an email. I woke up in midnight around 11, 12, and then I saw an email call. Oh my goodness. I was like, Jesus. I screamed. I called my family, like, I've gotten the scholarship, I've gotten the scholarship. And so for me, the waiting period was more an issue for me because like my mind was always up. Are you sure I'm going to get this? This in like we have thousands of people. And during my time, what they wrote was that we were more than 2,000 people that applied,
Wow.
and only five of us were selected to be in Arizona, while the other five did theirs, like had to wait for the next year, right? So five people didn't come at all, but they were just in the waiting, and then only five of us had to come to our ASU in 2024 for the scholarship.
Wow. That is very competitive. 5 out of 2,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But that also means that your application was top notch, like very top notch. So guys, if you've been listening even to just this amount of time, I've even learned something that what you need to have your documents and things that you're doing early before the scholarship comes or the scholarship opportunity comes your way. You want to be prepared before that scholarship, not when the scholarship opportunity shows itself. So wow, thank you so much, Esther. That's very interesting. So, during the application, was there any part like that you found challenging? I know you mentioned the interview, but I don't want to just assume that maybe you found that part challenging or something.
I would say really it's like none of it was challenging to me. Applying to school, the to ASU directly wasn't really challenging. I know one thing they needed was I submitted everything they asked me for, and I reached out to my school to like send my transcript directly from my institution, and that was pretty fast. I know most people find it challenging when it gets to like getting their transcript being sent, but mine was really fast. Um, just the only time I found it a bit challenging was still that interview part because I was really skeptical about what the question was going to be since the AI in business was like this was the first time it was being offered in ASU. It was the first time Mastercard was actually offering it. And so it was like, okay, there was no resources online to actually go to go and search. When you go online, you see different interviews, but the one like one that has to do with AI, there was nothing there. And the AI background knowledge I had was just from the fellowship. It wasn't like, okay, I did it in my undergraduate degree, like what that was what I did during my undergraduate. So it was quite different from me. And so I just had to prepare. And so one of the questions that came out during my interview was, I know they brought in Elizabeth. She was the director as at that time of enterprise technology in ASU, which is in charge of AI. So they brought in the director to my
Wow.
interview. I was like, she was like, okay, what knowledge, what have you done in AI? I was like, Jesus, what do I answer? I was like, so for me, whenever I go to interviews, interviews are pretty easy for me. Like, I don't think if you just allow me get to the interview phase, I've gotten it. That's my belief. If I get there, I know what to say. So I was like, oh, I've not really had so much knowledge. But this is what I did during my fellowship with Women Textile. This and this were the project I worked on. This was my role. And if I'm given the opportunity to be in this program, I am going to use the underground knowledge, the background knowledge I have in information technology combined with the knowledge from my fellowship, with some of the researches I'm going to do to actually excel in this fellowship and in the course. I was like, wow, that was perfect. And so that was how I skate through that interview. So I didn't have to lie. I just
Wow.
said what I actually did, and that was it for me. So yeah.
Wow. That must have been something. Imagine having an interview with the director. That wow. Oh my God. But what I've learned right now is that because you already have the experiences, when you're being asked about it, it no longer feels like something that that you don't have anything about because you already had the experience, but it's easier to answer compared to someone that's just like, okay, let me just kind of maybe form a
Yeah.
story at the spot, but you had stories to tell. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's something. So, guys, if you've been listening, you should already know by now that let me have those stories and experiences to tell before I'm not invited and I don't have anything to say. Wow. So, I know we'll come back maybe after we talk when after we bring on Jeanette, we'll still come back to that interview because I know a lot of people still want to find out more information. But just to know about, I know you're already done with your program. So, but how was it like when you got to ASU? How was life in ASU?
To me, it was pretty much easy. I had the five scholars I went with, and we were more of we became friends instantly. I had my roommate, Faith Timo. We still communicate right now, even though I'm no longer at ASU. We call, we talk a lot. I have Florence and the rest of like the five of us. We go to classes at the same time. We're coming back at the same time. If you see us, like, oh, where's the other person? And also the place we were asked. We had other scholars, the scholars that were there before us, that were doing other programs. They
Mm,
were also like we were in the same building, right? And we also had our monthly scholars meeting, like meetup, where we go, everybody meet and talk. And one thing about Mastercard is they make your life so comfortable. You don't need to spend with you don't spend on anything. You're provided with accommodation, you're provided with your books, your stationaries, you're provided with laptop. Maybe we got there, we got our initial money, cash to take care of our
wow.
feeding. We were giving money to go buy our laptop. Like the laptop I'm using now was given to me by Mastercard. Um, Accommodation was prepared, everything we needed for cooking, like everything, pot, plates, everything was provided. What else? Like, just think about anything you need to make your life as comfortable as. So most of the time, I just tell people like Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is the best in the whole world. There is nothing you're going to tell me about it. So like everything was made available. Even you money for school bag, you want like a lot, but I'll say different scholarship, like Mastercard Foundation scholarship is different with different institutions. So like different institutions have what their package and what they offer. But what I'm saying is what I actually got, so I'm not quoted, right? So it's like what I was actually given. And so everything was like I was so comfortable. The only thing was, oh, I missed my family, right? Just that feeling of, oh, my family, when next am I going to see them? But when it came to like whatever I needed to succeed in my academics, I had them already even before I got there.
Wow, Mastercard is the OG. It's really the OG. I know every Mastercard Foundation scholar always has this, like Mastercard Foundation is it. If you have it, then you're going to be comfortable during your schooling.
Yeah.
So guys, you should definitely aim to get a Mastercard Foundation scholarship. So before I bring Janet in and we really go into the application process, I just want to ask you one question to really connect your experience to what we are going to discuss next. Like looking back at your application, what do you think like made you a competitive candidate?
Oh yeah. So one thing I'll say is my experience, where I was and where I was going, everything aligned. So I think one thing that actually helped me was in my final year, I attended a program in school. It was called After School Wordness. And so when someone actually invited me, normally I don't go, but that particular one was like, okay, let me go because my course rep invited me. I was like, okay, let me go and see what they're saying. And when I went for that program, they discussed a lot of things, but they helped me understand that I had to be prepared for what was coming. What are you
Mm,
putting in place? What do you currently have? Do you have the certifications for where you want to be? Do you have the right skills for where you want to be? Like what does your next 5 years look like? And so after that particular program, I came back and I started thinking about my life. Okay, what do I need to do to improve? I knew I had academic excellence. I was graduating already with a first class degree and as the best in my department. But what else can I say? What else can I sell, right, to people when they come to me, not just first class degree? So immediately I graduated doing my NYSC, I joined the CDS group. I was like one of the leaders. I was coordinating and speaking. I started my own foundation, Opportunities Unlock, where I was imparting women and children and girls. I joined different fellowships. I got different certifications, and everything I was doing was in line with what I wanted. It was either in technology or data or AI. Like everything was connected. And so when I wanted to write my application and my essays, you will see a gradual flow and a connection from one to the other. I graduated with this. I did this training and certification just to improve in this. And then I started this particular foundation to help women and girls improve in their IT and tech skills. Like the impact is there. And so if I'm giving this particular scholarship, I would expand my reach to more females, more women in tech, in this and that. So the story was smooth. That's one thing. So it wasn't just academic excellence. Academic excellence was there. My impact was there. My future proposal was there. Like everything was connected. And so my advice to people is take time, maybe anyone that would watch this or that is watching this, think about where you currently are. What kind of future are you looking to have? Do you have the right skills? Do you have the right certifications? Do you have like what it takes? If someone comes to you and goes to another person, what's going to differentiate you from the other person? Why would they want to go for you, right? So if you're able to ask yourself that question, you would be able to see, okay, these are the gaps that are existing that I need to fill up, and these are the things that I can do to fill up. So when we start being intentional about our growth and where we want to be, we can like get to any point in our life. So yeah, that was one thing, like that was what actually helped me, just sitting down and thinking about certain things and making the proper decision. Oh, we can't hear you, Esther. I think your volume is off, Esther. I can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry, I was using a noise cancellation microphone, so that's probably why. Okay, so which of these people in the public hear me? So let me keep it. Okay, so thank you so much, Esther. I really appreciate. I've already learned a lot, and I think people have gotten context behind what it actually takes to be a competitive candidate for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. So, guys, this is the time that you should start building those experiences if you want to join a fellowship, if you're currently doing your PDS and your CDS for your NYSC, try to be active in it. So just basically doing things before those scholarship opportunities open, not when they open, then you come and start saying, let me join this program and stuff like that. That shouldn't be how it works. Try to build those experiences before it. And one thing that stood out for me was that you shared like different pieces of your journey that basically came together in your scholarship application. And Janet, I had like to bring you into the conversation now. So Esther shared how her journey was, especially being the first set of people for the course she did. So now for you, Janet, please, first of all, can you introduce yourself to us? You can tell us about your academic background, what you're currently studying, who you are.
Sorry about that. Yes, good evening. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
All right, good evening. It's nice to be here. Good evening, Esther. So I would say she's my senior. So I'm Janet. By the way, I'm Moromoke Janet Bello. I know people call me Janet, but then Moromoke is my first name.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
officially. Yeah, so yeah, I graduated. I'm from Nigeria. I graduated from X2, computer science education. I call it double honor because I have BSED. Yeah. So for my background, I mean, I've done quite a lot of things, ranging from education to IT field and the likes. Yeah. So coincidentally, I think Esther also did a program with Tech for Dev. I did as well, but then I think it's different here. So for me, I did product management with Tech for Dev. So after which I interned with a startup. Yeah, I interned with them. We did some things. Yeah, I also had to do some trainings in line with, because my interest actually for the very, very beginning lies in web development. So I did some training in front-end development, web application development, and the likes. Yeah, with Code Camp and any platform you could think of, because I did quite a lot of bootcamp trainings. So I'm just the type that when they say there is one free training day, you see me there, because I'll just be there. Yeah. So that's for me. And presently, as Mastercard ASU Scholar, I'm doing information technology for my master's degree. Yeah, I don't know if there's more I should add to that.
Wow, that's actually a lot of background. Guys, I think this thing is just common with Mastercard Foundation Scholars. They were always doing something before the scholarship even came. So it feels like they were prepared, like they had that experiences to give, and this just shows it. Wow. So Morenike, okay, let me go with Morenike. What inspired you to like pursue a postgraduate study? Because like you're a techie, so now tech looks like the money part. But like what inspired you to go for a postgraduate study?
Okay, so for me, everybody that wants to like continue with their education definitely have a passion for learning and doing more. So for me, I love to teach, like I can teach. And on my undergraduate, I combine education, computer science education. So somehow I have this thing for, you want to lecture, that kind of thing. And then I was aiming to become a doctor one day. That's one thing. Okay, so I was like, okay. And then I also graduated as a first class student. So it's out there like, you need to do more. You don't end the journey here, that kind of thing. And I have a lecturer, like I'm not close to all my lecturers, but I have some of the lecturers that they are really interested in me, and they'll be like, don't end this journey here. They will remind you that you have no big dream, you have big things that await you, so you don't want to stop here. And I already told myself that I'm taking it further. We are not stopping anytime soon. Yeah, so that's what basically inspired the journey to postgraduate study.
Wow, wow. And one thing I've taken from you and Esther is that you had a relationship with some lecturers. So I'm very sure when it came to recommendation letter, I didn't feel like all this, oh, I'm going to one lecturer that doesn't know me. So guys, I think there are some lecturers. Okay. So guys, just 1 minute. Seems to be an issue. Yeah. This thing stops streaming. Please a minute, guys. I can't see my stream anymore. Oh my God. Okay, we're back. My God, I was scared. Okay. Think everyone we are back. Yeah, nice. So as I was saying, that is something that you need to take from our two scholars is you should have some of the lecturers that at least you still keep in contact to even after your university, your relationship should not just end because you're finished your undergraduate studies. So I think my next question to you, just like Esther, is how did you like hear about the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship?
So for me, it's more of complication than the clarity Esther had. Because for me, when I was in my undergraduate, I have blockheads, meaning that I lack so much information. I was just around my book, my grades, go to class, and the likes. So nobody was saying anything. I was not asking questions. I was just there. So when I graduated, I was without any information. Like there wasn't any information like this is how to apply for scholarship. I actually did not have any idea of that when I graduated. So it was when I went for my NYSC, I served in Bowen University. So one of the core members then told me about Chimney. So I was introduced to Chimney, and that time there was no mentor, nobody to guide or not to write essays and the likes. So I just applied. But in my mind, the craziest thing, sorry to use that word, is that in my mind, I already know that I'm not getting in. Because I know what I did there, no, it doesn't work. You know, when you write essays and there is no connection, you're just writing so many stories. You can read about 6 stories from my essays. You can read about 6 stories. I was just bringing them. And that was because that time I lacked the information that I needed, the guidance that can help me, bringing things reasonable together. Nobody was saying anything to me. I was just doing trial and error, or how do they say that? That was what I was doing then. So it was when I got the first rejection that I knew that it's time to sit up. Yeah. So when I got the first rejection, I was like, okay, this is how it feels to get a rejection. So what I did then was now going to people. I started to, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, because then I think I have a few people on my LinkedIn page and I wasn't really active. So I think from here, it is very important for anybody listening to learn from this. I wasn't active, if you checked people on my what is it called? Connection, then really, there's nothing really you can actually get from them. And that was what affected me, because I didn't mean I follow people that have this information. Probably they might have posted something that will interest me and push me. But then we are all there writing stories that we liked on LinkedIn as newbie. So what I did after the rejection was go to LinkedIn and start following anybody that says scholar. If I say scholar on your page like this, pew, I follow. If I say anything like I just graduated, pew, I follow. That was what I was doing. Like I was just following everybody. And I think I did the same for Esther too. I was just following anybody that say, okay, I just got an addition. I just got. So I try to follow a lot of people that they've taken one step ahead of me. And each time they post, I get to enter their DM, their DM, and ask question like, oh, how did you do it? What did you do? So the second application that I made to me, because I think I made 2 applications, I had to share my essay to one of the alumni to check for me. So he checked, he edited, I went back to it, and somehow I didn't get it again. So I was like, oh, we are not stopping here. I have to keep on, applying, pushing myself. As I'm applying, I'm getting better with, how to apply, because each rejection always teach me something, like there's something missing here, and you have to get it right. So the next application, then I think probably when Esther was writing something about ASU program when she was on campus, then I think she wrote something on ASU program. That was when I saw the post. I was like, oh, interesting. That was when I got to know about Mastercard. You can imagine how long Mastercard has been existing, and me getting to know about Mastercard at that time, it was so ridiculous for me, because I felt like, oh, you are out of the internet, basically. Yeah, so I got to know about Mastercard. She spoke about them, and information like that. Then I saw the ASU application, the first ASU what is it called, scholarship application. I reached out to her. I asked her about the essay. Okay, how do you think it's, you apply? How do you think you write this thing? And she explained some of the things that are, contained in the whole application. So I went ahead to apply, and breakfast. I said, okay, we are getting somewhere. That was in 2024. So 2025, I saw another application. Okay, the first one was main campus. The second one was an online this thing. So the one they have partnership with a school in Rwanda. So when I saw that, it wasn't really clear, because I was like, I applied last year for this same ASU Mastercard. So what is this? So I really do not understand. So I've been seeing the application, people were posting, because I've already followed a lot of them. A lot of ASU students, Mastercard scholars, I've already followed. So they're sharing and sharing. I was seeing that, I was like, I've already been rejected. Probably if I apply again, it might not work, because this is the same school that rejected me. So somehow, it was just like a few days to that deadline. So I messaged somebody in Rwanda. I was like, okay, so for somebody to do this particular application, do I have to be in Rwanda? The person was like, yes, you have to be in Rwanda. And that made me, just went back to my seats, relax, and feel like I'm not applying again. But I don't know, as God will have it, I was just pushed to apply. So I applied on the day, on that deadline. I was just like, there's no crime in trying. What if I assume myself to be Rwandan and just apply? And when, I'm picked, I find my way to Rwanda. That was my thought then. Even if it's going to be like Rwanda people, I would just assume like, okay, I'm Rwandese. When you give me admission, I just pack my bag and quickly enter Rwanda. That was the plan, because I was told you have to be there. Yeah, so I just went back to the same essay I used for the first application. I edited some things, check again what are the things that I can change. So I did that, then submit. So for that particular application, you can tell that I wasn't even expecting a response for them. I already continued with other application. I did Queen Elizabeth's application then. So I was hoping for that one before the message came in. Okay, so, but I have one message for my cohort. Before you got the good news, we got bad news. So it was it was very tempting that time. You got, oh, sorry, Kiriko, you all have been rejected, something like that. Everybody that got that message, we're already crying now. You have been rejected. But that was system error, as God we have it. That was system error for everybody. I remember, checking my portal and seeing that, the decision has not been made. I reached out to, there was actually a man from ASU that was actually reaching out to me in my email to help me with the application process. So I reached out, I said, they've given me rejection and you're still asking me for follow-up. Like, it doesn't correlate. So the man said, the decision has not been made. Where did you get that email? And I had to send a screenshot. That was when they had to reprocess the whole thing and said, oh, they're sorry, that was system error. We'll be getting feedback when the decision is finally made. Yeah. So after then, went back to prayer. That if the mistake will not be my my final say. That was it. That was the point to start saying the mistake they made should not be my own final report. Everybody had to pray that kind of prayer. Yeah. And as God would have it, I got invite for the interview. So for my own cohort, what they did was the first thing they did was sent a message. I think was it after the interview thereabouts? So they sent in a message to go and apply on the portal. So after applying on the portal, you give them the ID, your application ID. So they process that. I didn't get to see when ASU gave me an admission, actually. So funny enough, I don't know if other people get to see that, but for myself, I didn't see that. I only saw that Mastercard accepted me. So I feel like they've already had that thing figure out when the student has been offered the admission, they offer the scholarship, something like that, because I wasn't aware when ASU itself gives the admission and ASU stepped in, Mastercard stepped in. So I was just like, okay, at the end, I saw that on my portal, there's already congratulations, and Mastercard Foundation also gave this congratulatory message. So that was like the journey to knowing about Mastercard. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like so many things from information, how getting information is very important. And guys, if from this talk, you should have learned that your LinkedIn, don't abandon LinkedIn like that. LinkedIn might be where you might find that opportunity that might fit you. So guys, this is like, in fact, within the last 40 minutes, you should have learned something that you should work towards for your next application. So before we continue, I think there's a particular question here that we need to resolve, and it says, is Mastercard Foundation just for first-class students?
Mm.
I don't have an answer. I don't know.
So, Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is not just for first-class students. What they look at for, they have pointing scale that is used for every application. And so on that pointing scale, they look at your academics. That's first class, second class, upper. They take second class, upper. They look at your involvement, leadership, your impact, community impact. There are a lot of things, your skills, the projects you've handled. So these are the things that are now added to that scale, and then to see where you fall under. So that's why it's advisable that you have the appropriate certifications, community impact, leadership experience. Leadership is very important. Leadership that can be combined with your academics, even if you don't have a first class, as long as like you've done something very impactful in your community, you can actually get there. Okay, so during our sets, one of us that was chosen didn't get a first class, wasn't a first class graduate. So I know someone who isn't a first class graduate that was a part of the scholarship.
Wow. Wow, that's so guys, you have heard it. You don't need to be a first-class graduate to get the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. And okay, there's still another question here that has to do with getting lecturers to reference is a big challenge when you have been out of school for long, like 6 to 7 years. So I think this question should be, does ASU Mastercard Foundation require recommendation? I don't know.
Jenna, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to go for it?
Okay, yes, they do. I think 2 recommendation letter. Is that 2 or 1? I don't know, but 2. I should just prepare 2. But then 1 is required to be from your school, like maybe not emphasized, but that would be the best thing to do. Have somebody like a lecturer that can write on your behalf. And the other one can be from somebody that acts as a mentor. I remember my 2 letters. One was from my lecturer, and the other one is somebody that I met when I was 7. When I was 7, and I lectured outside Nigeria. Yeah, so the person wrote for me, and they were all accepted. The 2 letters were accepted. So I feel like if you're going to get the 2 letters, one should be from your lecturer. They will trust that more. Yeah, the other can be from maybe your workplace, just people that can vouch for you.
Yeah, I think I would like to
Yeah.
add to that also. So you're submitting different recommendation letter. When you're applying to ASU, you're submitting recommendation letter. When you're also applying for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, you're submitting recommendation letter. And the content of those recommendation letters should be different because that of the scholarship should be focused on scholarship and how you want to like how you should be given the scholarship, and that of the course you're applying for should be more focused on your skills, your achievements, and how you can do well, excel in the course. So it shouldn't be the same content. And if you're getting recommendation letter from maybe a professional in the field, or maybe your a work colleague. Mine was even a work colleague. It wasn't even supervisor or anything. It was my colleague. I told him to write me a recommendation letter. But it should have a letterhead. It should be stamped and signed. So letterhead stamped and signed, and be more about you. Currently, what I do to keep in touch with my lecturers. So even if you've left school for years, I've left school since 2021, but I still keep in touch with my lecturers. You can follow them on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook. When they are celebrating is their birthday, Facebook will notify you. You just send them a simple birthday message. On LinkedIn, if they make a post, if they are the ones that are active, you just like and comment. They'll see your name so that when you slide into their DMs to ask for recommendation, it's not like, oh, you've not spoken to them for years and then you're just coming to come and ask for recommendation later, right? So those those little acts can just keep you in front, and then whenever you go to them, they'll be willing to help. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maura. Please permit me to continue with Janet and Esther. It's so guys, you've heard it when it comes to recommendation, you should by now, whether you've left school 6 to 7 years, they've already told you the answer on how to go about it. So make sure you keep in touch. If there's a lecturer that you want to message now, don't message that lecturer when you need assistance. Message that person before they try to build that relationship. Okay, so before we go into the SOP, I just want to ask one question, Janet. Like, what do you think strengthened your application the most?
Okay, so if you're talking about the application, it still boils down to how you're able to convince them. So it's how you're able to convince them that makes the application count out as a success. So during the course of the essay, my stories were authentic because as at then, I've already experienced quite a lot of rejection that strengthened, my understanding of how to apply. So I had, quite a lot of volunteering experiences at that time. And, doing my internship trainings, bootcamp trainings, I had done some of these, what is it called, capstone projects. So, and the custom projects are related to, my goals, my future, what I wanted to, look forward to, and the likes like that. So I was just bringing everything together, like it aligns. Do you get? When I started my story with leadership, I had quite a lot of, story to tell at that point. Starting from when I was an undergraduate, I was academic coordinator in my church fellowship. And I remember then there were just few people that I was, I had to look out for them. Like they were not doing well academically in the middle of the night. I get to call some people and I say, oh, wake up and read. These are things I put together. And I don't really I don't portray myself more than what I was at that time. I mentored 10 people. I put it together. I mentored 10 people and the results was there. So when I had to also do this TEDx event, I joined them. So we coordinated, a lot of people, and people that attended the event, they were like thousands. But for the team, we had like 50. So I put it there that, 50 people were on the team that I coordinated. And for the whole, attendees for that program, they were like 1,500. So when I was writing my story, I was including the year, the figure, the achievements. So I was writing, when I write, I said, okay, I did this for 50 people. I did this for 10 people. And that was how I was able to prove myself to be authentic, because the facts and figures were there and clear. the point where I was unable from one community that I belong, the youth, the young leaders network that I belong, we are unable to complete a particular project. So I put it there that we are unable to complete this project. However, it's still in picture. So what I said there is that I was authentic with my story, and that was why I was able to say it over and over again during the interview. Because by the time the questions asked, then interview does not correlate with what they might have read about you in your essay, then there is a problem. So what I did, I was able to say it over and over again, and going to know how you were able to do your academics and future goals. Your future goals have to be the ones that are realistic. You can't say you want to be the next, maybe you can be the next president. Father, you have to be, it has to be realistic. So I get to prove what I want to become in the next 2, 3, 5 years. So basically what I can say is that your story has to be authentic. Let them see the realistic you, the authentic you. I tell people a lot that what they call leadership, some people think is where they carry placard and announce, campaign around, drug abuse, stop drug abuse, and the likes like that. That is when they have already done something like leadership or community service. The community service, the leadership thing might be maybe 5 people that just come together to build a project. And from there you put it there, maybe few people get interested in it, they say something about it. What are the comments from that project? So these are stories that when you write from 2018 to 2019, it flows to the very year I applied to my scholarship. So that was it for me. I think that's been authentic. It's just it.
Wow, wow, you've really given people insights on how to actually go about their essays. So now that we're basically talking about essays, for ASU Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, is it just because I know they usually call it a motivation letter? So let me ask this question. Is it just the motivation letter that you write, or do you write like other essays apart from that motivation letter, if I'm right? How many essays do you write in total for the application?
Also, for my course, we wrote 3 essays. So I think for some programs or other scholarship, you can say SOP, you can say motivation letter, which is just you writing all your story at once, just writing maybe like 2 pages of about you. Just combine your experiences with your academic goal and everything in that document. But for Mastercard, they will actually give you a guide to your response, like by asking you question. There is a question there that will help you to know what to write on that particular page or section of that. So the first one now doing my cohorts, I think probably it's not 2, I don't know, but that it was 3 questions. The first one has to do with leadership. The third one, I think leadership and resilience, kind of. I think the second one has to do with why you're choosing, that career path. So you link your course, what you studied, with what you have done in it and what you intend to do with it after the program. And I think the third one is about your goals after the program. How do you intend to, to help others? How do you intend to impact the world with that skill that you get after the master's degree? So something around that 3, those are I can't really remember the structure of the question, but I can tell those are the key things that's prompt your response. So they will give you like a guide to your responses. But for other scholarship that you might see, it might just be motivation letter. You just submitting just one document that has all your stories in it. You know how to formulate that yourself. Yeah.
So I think I also need to ask Esther, because I know you people are doing 2 different masters. So for you, Esther, how was it for you? What kind of essays did you see at your time, and how did you approach them?
So the essays are when you open the application for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, there is I'm actually opening it up because I have. So after I got my scholarship, I started helping a lot of people. I didn't even know Janet was one of the people I was communicating with until she mentioned that, oh, she spoke to me just now. Like, yeah, really? So I was always writing about it. Like several people got the scholarship through me, even to other institutions, other schools, McGill. I even forgot to mention, my sister was also a Mastercard Scholar, Foundation Scholar at Cambridge University. We got at the same time, the same year. So she applied before me and she was still waiting for her own. And then I got my own. It's like, so you got, then her own came. So she's currently in UK right now. She got hers. And so the questions, number one is discuss your relevant academic and professional experience and how it aligns with your career goals. 450 to 500 words. This was 2025. It was last year. Second one is about leadership, entrepreneurial endeavors, community impact, your contributions to impact positive change. And then the third one is resilience and your personal growth and contribution to success and how that will shape your career journey. So these are the three areas. And one thing I forgot I need to mention is different institutions have their focus. For Cambridge, because my sister was there, like they focus on climate and the rest. For ASU, the focus is on transformation and innovation. That's like when you talk about ASU. So most times when I advise people that I help review their essays, like make sure it's about transformation, make sure you're talking about innovation, innovative change. ASU is number one in innovation for more than 11, 12 years right now. So whatever they are building, they will still want to remain at the top of that goal for innovation. So ensure that your essays are targeted, and most times the courses that are being offered are more of technology, tech related courses. And so make sure that you're focusing your essays in that line. And so yeah. And while I was still a scholar, I grew a bit closer to the team. And I knew like the following the set that came after was how like they were screened because I had like this kind of clothing. More than 50% of the applications were screened out from like they didn't even have to like check so much. Why? Because it was AI generated. So they just look, once it's AI film, they don't even need to look at other things. As they are just looking at the AI, boom, it's going. Then before they now start looking at other areas. So just be conscious of how you use AI when writing, because that's like the first thing. Once there's just a bit of AI in it, you're out. Before they now start look at other things you have that you submitted. Another thing, they say PDF, submit PDF. Because if they're using a system that can accept only PDF to screen your essay and you submit a Word document, that wouldn't go. And they don't have time to come and tell you out of 2,000 applicants, oh, resubmit this as a PDF. Nobody is coming back because you failed to listen to instructions. So if they say PDF, submit PDF, they say not less than 450 to 500 words. Make sure that your words are within that range. Do not go 439. Put it within that range. Don't go 550, 501. Do not exceed it. Within that scope. So there are a lot of things that are being like watched out for when screening these applications and essays. So people just need to be conscious of the application. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, don't be authentic. Be authentic. I think that's one common thing with every Mastercard Foundation scholar. Authenticity is very important. Wow. Okay, so one question here before we move forward, and that's please, for one who has a research and leadership portfolio, does ASU Mastercard Foundation Scholarship accept links embedded in either the CV or motivation letter?
So for the letters you're writing, just state it there. And then those links, what I say, build a portfolio. If you don't have a portfolio website, build your website. At the top of your CV, where you have your email, phone number, address, put the link of your portfolio. So that if they need to go see your research work, project details that you worked on, when they click on that link that links to your portfolio, they see everything. You don't need to embed those links inside your essays and your CV. Let it be in your portfolio. And there was a time like when I was still teaching people how to apply for scholarship, and when I had the time, I would teach them how to build a portfolio. You don't even need to pay. Website like Wix, you can build a free portfolio website and fill up all your every detail, everything you worked on, just put it there. On your LinkedIn can also be your portfolio. Anything you're working on, put it on LinkedIn. I worked on this project, this was my achievement, this was my role. Put it there. Attach your LinkedIn link to your CV at the top of your CV. So if they want to get further information about you, or they want to prove that, oh, you actually did this work, they will go to your profile and search. They will see it there that it's recorded, you've done it. They have proof. So you really do not have to start adding those links and adding so much into your CV and your essays.
So thank you so much. I think this also addresses this person that is asking that will you be asked for evidence. So I'm sure if you've followed Esther's advice to attach your website link to your CV, they can easily go to your website or your LinkedIn page and see the evidence that you've actually done this community project. So that's why don't hide your journey. Try to show evidence, like through your, maybe you can post on it, or I did this, so that everyone has something to look forward to. But however, let me just ask this generally. When writing the essays for community impact and right, I know you mentioned leadership too. Would they actually ask for evidence? Like say, okay, there's a different maybe page or a different part where you actually have to upload your evidence, or they can just go to your website as you've already mentioned.
So they don't ask for evidence. But if your story is not true, like they just have a way of finding out. I don't know how they do it. There's always a way of finding out. And another thing is you will not be able to defend it when it comes to interview if your story is not true. Because all that, when you come to interview, they just want to see how true you are. They want to see you speak to those things you've written on your essays. Okay, so sometimes they can even ask you question. Oh, you mentioned that you did this, so tell us about it. And if it's not something you've done, you would mess up, you would say rubbish. And if it does not tally with your AC, you're out. So just be true, use the appropriate figures, just like Janet mentioned. Don't go and say 1,000 when you did something with 50, just 50 people, because you can't defend it, right?
Yeah, so I would just add to that. I will encourage people to use internet for good these days. Whatever you are doing, that no matter how small it is, make sure you put it on the internet, because they Google search you a lot. I mean, when we got here, they told us that every one of you don't know, we search about you on the internet. I think you are the type of person that comments, something bad on people's posts, or you write, about, they will have removed you, you won't be here. So they actually read about you on the internet, and also from there they get to find out about anything that you have done, be it like community service or projects that you are involved in. They get to see it, and it gives them another additional trust to pick you. So for somebody that they can't prove the story, they can't just prove everything that you put there, they will not pick you. So that's just it. Yeah.
Mastercard, I can see how because screening 2,000 people and only picking 5 people, that it must be something. Wow. So another question here is there are instances you write essays yourself, but when you want to check AI, they will say it is AI generated. Is that the way to check and also know or rather, is there a way to check and also know the percentage of AI that could be rejected?
So currently, I do not have that. But one thing I know, my advice is when you want to write essay, right? How I normally advise people, start with your book and your pen. Don't go to internet. Don't go to any AI tool. You know yourself. AI doesn't know you. Write your story. Oh, while I was in my undergraduate, I did this and this. This was the year I did it. This was the time. This were the number of people. This was the impact I had. This other year, I did this. I did this. I joined this program. this was my role, this. After graduating, this was what I did. These were the certifications I took. Like when you look at the question, try to come up with your story. Then when you're done, if you know there are grammatical errors, structural errors, you can take it to AI and only ask AI, based on this, rearrange, remove grammatical error and restructure. That way, it's your story. No matter where they put it, it is your story. There's no way you come and tell me that, oh, Janet said she did program in she like the different institutions she went to, the different training she went to. It can never be my story. It can never be the same. There's no way the AI will tell them that you now generate that story for me and it's not doesn't tally with my CV. And when they look at it, they will know. Because if you just go to AI directly to make up story for you, AI can do anything at this point. Make up story for you, things that you did not do and the ones you did, you will mix it together. But when it's your story you take to it, it will just remove those grammatical errors and be structured it for you. And you don't need to be scared of if they would find that AI or no AI. You know it's your real story and you can defend it anytime, any day.
Yes, that's very interesting. So I think this is just a general question I have. Are there particular ways that you guys had, like in how you wrote your essay, maybe just a strategy, maybe use something like STAR method and all that you can share with people on how they can go about writing their own essays?
I think STAR method is still the best. It's still the best. I mean, the situation, we all know what the activity is, what the results looks like, you know. And like I said, for me, I don't know if anybody has written their own in a way that's as be helpful than the way that I wrote mine. I mean, I included figures in my own. I was so intentional about that. Yeah. Then I remember I did some what is it called, advocacy, tech girls, party girl, the menstrual period education, and STEM education. Yes, guess in STEM education. So I did that, and when we advocated in schools, we recorded numbers of students we spoke with. So I was able to put it there that, okay, across 3 schools that I visited for this advocacy, 500 students we actually interacted with. So when you state the situation, what was the results? How many people were impacted in the course of that particular program? So STAR method is still the best that can help you to bring the story together. If not, you just get to tell the story as a storybook. And we call it story, but not really story. It's just your experience that you put down in text. So if you don't put the experience in the way that experience will look like, then it becomes a storybook. Yeah, something like that. So that's it for me.
Esther, do you have something to add to that? Or maybe you can tell us how you went about yours.
Oh, yes. So for mine, what I did was I made sure my story was more personal. I started from, my story is a different one. Like the challenges I faced growing up as a girl child, as the first child, first daughter, like I have how many siblings, or this was my role in their lives. Went over to my education in my department. This was like some of the activities I did. This was how I also helped my fellow students. This was the impact I had in them. How I also, like with all the challenges I was facing, graduating with at the top of my class. Then after graduating, certifications I took, all the impacts journey I did. Then reason why I wanted this particular course and why I think this course would be really helpful for me, and not just for me, for the wider community and everyone that looks up to me. Yeah, so that was it. So like it was like a journey for me from this stage to this stage to this stage, and this is where I want to be once I'm given this opportunity. And in all that, I had figures. I had numbers. I was telling you the location. I was telling you the year. I was telling you the number of people that were involved. I will even mention name. So person. I'll put the person's name there. You cannot say it's AI. You cannot say it's a lie. So like there were real, it was real story. It was personal. So when you read it, you know that, oh, this person, yeah, like you feel it. You understand that this is a real story and this is a journey that, oh, if I actually give this person the opportunity, she can do more. You get? So that's how your story should be. It shouldn't be like something that was just grabbed from somewhere and submitted, but make it like more of your journey. Let them see that it's a journey you're going through and you've done something and you can do more. With that, they can anybody, because the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is an investment in you. So if we invest in you, what can we get in return? That's the question. The AI program I did, it's no longer being offered. So the first set, the first 5, and then the next 5 that came in the next year, they are no longer offering it because it's very expensive. It's like the most expensive scholarship they've ever given, this AI in business scholarship. And so just imagine them investing such amount in somebody, what would they get in return? So that's like one question you should answer for yourself, like when writing those essays.
Okay, before we go to some chat questions, I just want to divert into the interview. So I know Esther, you talked about the fact that a director basically interviewed you and how you were able to answer it. So for you, Jeanette, how was it for you?
Yeah, the interview was great. Yeah, okay. It was a mixture of how interview can be, you are tensed because you don't know what the question will look like. So you're like, okay, it's like you're facing a panel. When I was preparing, so I think I reached out to somebody from a group where I belong. So I belong to a group of people that are seeking scholarship. Yeah, they share ideas, they share stuff like that. I think updates, they just share information. Yeah. So somebody got scholarship, another scholarship, not Mastercard scholarship, got it then. So I reached out. I was like, okay, did you add this interview thing when you were applying or during the process of your application, and what are the questions like? So that the guy gave me like a list of questions. It was just like, these are general questions that anybody would ask any scholar. This is not about Mastercard or a foundation specifically. It's just like general question anybody would ask you if they're offering you scholarship. So he gave me like a list about 10 questions and said, if you're able to provide answers to these 10 questions, then you are ready for the interview. And what I did was, okay, start preparing myself for, okay, if the question comes this way, if they ask this one, do I have the answer to that? And I was just like, okay, I think I'm cool. After I was able to somehow find my way around those questions and assume I have the answer. So it was just a 30-minute interview. And I think the first lady on the call wasn't director. I think she was working with director. Yeah, Jessica. Yeah, so she was the first person with another member from Rwanda. Yeah, they joined the call, and I was asked 3 questions. Was it yeah, 3 questions, and I was told of the 3 questions each will be answered within 5 minutes, and I will have the last 5 minutes to myself to ask them question. So I think the first question they asked was from my mentor. What lesson did I actually learn from them? And it was just so direct for me. I didn't actually spend 5 minutes explaining that. I was like, I don't quote. So they were waiting for me to put more. That's the answer, because from my mentor, basically, you don't give up. You keep doing. And I explained to them that I've been applying for scholarship for the past 3 years, and I've gotten numerous rejection. So I don't give up. I will keep applying and applying over again. And they were like, oh, that's interesting. I said, yes, that's like the top thing for me when it comes to my mentor, what I got from my mentor. And the other question was about, okay, so I think one thing I also did was reading about the Mastercard goals. before I I got in my got into my interview. So I read about their 2030 goals. Yeah. So there was a particular question that was asked. I had to bring that in because I read about it. And somehow there is this relationship they had. I don't know if it's still going on with Nigeria at that point. So I have to like relate it so that they know that, yes, you have read about us, about what we're doing in your country and how we intend to take it, over every, the Africa, the world at large. So I just, brought that in during that, interview, and I could see the expression like, oh, you got it, like you actually read about this. Yeah. So I would love people to read about Mastercard because it's not okay to not know about the foundation that is going to give certain amounts for your studies. Know about them. What is the goal? Why are they choosing you? There's a reason they chose Africa, actually. There's a reason they chose Africa to fund. So these are the things I answered with during the interview. And yeah, with prayer, I got my final congratulatory message. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Wow. So for you, Esther, I know you mentioned that you might still want to add more concerning when you were talking about your interview experience. So is there something you might want to share more for your experience? Or maybe based on people you've guided?
Oh, okay. So for me, like I mentioned earlier, interviews are pretty much easy for me. Even when I did my scholarship interview for Mandela Rhodes, when I went to South Africa for it, was like they asked 5 different questions, and these were not really scholarship related questions. Like they'll ask you questions on resilience, on leadership, on like different things. And after I finished answering the question, one thing I did, I told them like, oh, they say, oh, do you have any question? I say, I don't have any question, but I'm very sure I've gotten the scholarship. And they all started laughing. Like I had 5 people sitting in front of me, and I told them I've gotten the scholarship. And they were laughing, like, wow, you're very bold. I said, yes, I have gotten the scholarship. And we were plenty. We were so many that went for that interview that they sponsored. But when I came back, I got that scholarship. And so for this one, the only reason why I was like a bit skeptical was because I didn't have so much AI. And they told me they were bringing the director. This wasn't like the director of Mastercard of ASU. This was director of ASU AI acceleration, AI, acceleration department, faculty. Yeah, that was the person. And so she was there. She asked me and I answered. But one thing I tell people is whenever you're interviewing, something that helps me is don't say, oh, when they ask you a question and you don't have any answer, don't say, oh, I don't have an answer. No, never say that. Tell them, come up with something that relates to what they've asked you, like what I mentioned before. So I won't go and say, oh, I've actually not built anything AI. No, I've done this one, I've done this one. So if you give me this opportunity, I'm sure I can do this one, right? Never say no. But if you also, they ask you the question, you don't have answer immediately, say, oh, can you come again? That time they are using to paraphrase or restate the question, you would think of something very fast. These are tips and tricks for interviews. You can just come up with something really quick that you can say and tell them. And don't go to interview looking anyhow. Look good, look corporate, dress well. Like, no, don't go and start forming funnel because, oh, these are white people and be yourself. By the time you start sounding some might be like, this one is not authentic. Like there are so many things that can just take you out, right? Just be yourself, speak the normal way you speak. They know this is Africa, it's African students they are getting. So they're not expecting you to be so 100% fluent in the way you speak. Just be yourself when you're speaking. So there is just a lot of things. Like this interview should just be like another topic, how you prepare for interview and the whole of it. But yeah, those are like little advice I can, like little things I can say about that.
Wow, guys. At this point, these are
Yeah, sorry,
insights.
let me add something to that. So
Okay.
because I think one thing I also noticed about people that transition, we have people that probably what you studied in your undergraduate is not the same as what you are planning to study for your master's. So they want you to tell them why you're choosing that, what happened. So you must be able to tell them, convince them enough that there's something that you've been doing that wants to make you push further to studying in that line. For example, somebody in maybe mechanical engineering, and you want to do something in IT. So you might just find a way to bring the two together so that they can see reason why they should fund you for that course, because you don't have the background knowledge. Why should we? So that's that part. I think my second question actually comes in that area of project, or what I have done with my, with my skill. And I remember telling them that I had a custom project where we built a agri-tech platform. And I said, it's not just a project. It's something that relates to Nigeria agricultural system, where we have discovered a gap. So it was the problem that made us build that kind of thing. And we are looking forward to make it better, so that they can actually use it. So they can see the intentionality of, okay, you spotted a problem. You are building something with your team, even though you have not launched it, but you have done something. So that's it for me.
I think that's very important, because we definitely have applicants here who are from another field that is not really tech inclined. So guys, if you're from another field, this is something that you should really take into. And I think beyond even Mastercard Foundation, these are insights that you should be able to apply for other scholarship applications. So I have another question, but before that, I have some questions here. And the first question is still about eligibility. So this question is, does a 2-2 stand a chance of getting the scholarship?
For 2-2, it might be a bit hard, but the way you write your essay can reposition you. I would tell you, your essay is a very, very important piece. If you have a lot of leadership, a lot of impact, and if you can tell that story very well, you might get that scholarship even before someone that has a first class that doesn't have leadership impact. So your essay is a very important piece, the way you write it. And also, another thing they will look at for when you write those essays, then they will add your recommendation later. The people, can they vouch for you that you did these things, right? And you can still do more. So when you combine those together, you might even get a bit further than someone that even has first class, that doesn't have any other thing to add to it. So your essay is very important in that aspect. I would say I've not seen yet, but I think it's possible, way possible. Yeah.
So for that recommendation that you mentioned, so someone is asking, can the 2 recommendation letters come from the school?
Yeah.
Okay,
It
guys.
can.
So your 2 recommendation letters can come from your school if you have maybe like 2 different lecturers that can write for you. One other question. Okay, I think I also have this question. When does ASU Mastercard Scholarship usually like open?
So there's no specific time. We can't say it's this time. Like for me, when I applied, it came around, our own just came out because, okay, they had that grant approved for that particular scholarship, and then they just opened the application. And the application didn't even last more than 2 weeks. Like it was so fast. So many people did not see it, right? It's like it just came up, few more than 2,000 applied, and that was it. It went off because the money just came for that particular scholarship because it was a new course, the first of its kind in America, in all business schools in America, the first AI program in business schools in America and in ASU. And so Mastercard, they wanted Mastercard to be a part of it, and then they gave that grant. Scholarship came and it was gone. That same year, they opened up another scholarship for the normal courses they do, right? And there is no particular timeline. They can just open up scholarships. But normally, what I advise people is follow Mastercard Foundation page. If you don't have it saved, save it on your browser. Follow Jessica Guas. I think that's her name. I can't really pronounce it, but it's VELAZQUEZ. So look for her on LinkedIn and follow her, because if it comes out, she's normally the first person that posts it, and then other platforms and other people will now start posting it. So you can follow her on LinkedIn so you can stay updated. Whenever it comes out, she's the number one person. She's currently the assistant director of Mastercard Foundation ASU. So you see it there. Follow her. So these are like the 2 points for you to know that the scholarship is out. But to say time of the year, I can't really, there's no specific time of the year that it really comes out.
So,
And yeah, just to know, okay, you can go ahead, Jenny.
oh, I think you should finish what you're saying.
Okay, yeah, there are two different, the scholarships for ASU is two. We have the online, for those in Rwanda, the one that is done in Rwanda, and then the one that you have to come to US to do. So it's two different scholarships that opens up, and they open up different times, right? So and then there's another one, another scholarship, but that's just for certifications. But what I advise people is, if the certification opens up, do it. It gives you an edge when the normal scholarship opens. You're able to complete that certification. You've gotten yourself to a point to getting the main scholarship. So if it opens up, apply and get it, then apply for the main scholarship.
Okay, Janet, you wanted to
Yeah,
say?
yeah, regarding the application, like she said, maybe not specific time, because Mastercard works with school calendar, different school calendars. So you can't tell for UK school, you can't compare UK with US school. So they open at different times. So depending on when the school opens, their semester or their platform, they work with them. And I think right from now, applications should be open for some of the schools. The one for University of Rwanda, Mastercard, like you are, is now open, and I think maybe Uganda, some have opened. Yeah, and I think I saw my gig the other time. They should have passed the phase of what is it called, information, yeah, something like that. So you just, like she said, follow Mastercard across a platform, and there's also another platform that you can get all this information called Baobab. Baobab is a Mastercard sorry, you can get information from there, back to back, every information, fellowships, events, conferences, grants. You can always get all this information from, Baobab platform. So anybody can register. Anybody can register on that platform. And like she said, the certification program, I will advise people to also do the certification program. It actually helped people that were selected for this particular cohort. Yeah, some were given direct scholarship because they have attended they have what is it called, graduated from that program. Yes, some of them were offered direct. Yeah, so it's actually helpful if you can do that course. So you're already, even after that course, that program, and you did not later apply for a scholarship or get into another school, you can be in the pool of their network, like an alumni kind of thing. Yeah, it can be in the pool of their network and get some benefit out of the community itself. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think I've also heard about my mind. I never really knew that it was used for Mastercard. Maybe I will go back to mine. That's really interesting. So this other question, I think this is a married individual. This person is asking, does Mastercard accept married individuals?
Yes, they do. When my sister was going to Cambridge, she had some people that were married that went. But then there's an age limit. I think that was is it 33 or 30 years? Correct me, Janet. I don't know. I can't remember. For Mastercard scholarship for masters, I think the age limit is either 30 years or 33. I can't really remember, but there's an age limit that they don't take. But whether married or single, you're eligible. As long as you're not above that age, you can apply.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so guys, marriage might not be an obstacle. Just make sure you're within the age limits. So another question here is, is the scholarship application like separated to that of the university? I think you've already clarified that you apply for the scholarship and then you might now be, or you will now be offered a fee waiver to the university application. Am I right?
Yeah. So just to state on that, if you apply to university and you're not given admission from university, even if you can't get the scholarship. You have to get the admission from the university, then you get the scholarship. So
Okay.
I remember there's this guy I was helping. It wasn't last year, because last year I was very busy. The year before, he was at the point, he finished his interview and he was at the point of securing that scholarship, like very close. I knew he did excellently well. The only thing that made him not get the scholarship was because ASU wanted to give him I think they gave him admission and they asked him to provide his transcript. There was a deadline to provide transcript. His school, oh, I think they were as there was strike as at that time. His schools kept on delaying until ASU, like, time has passed, and that was how he lost the scholarship. Like, I felt for this guy. So work with your school closely. Your transcript, that one is very important though. Like, he lost the scholarship, he lost everything. Everything, like ASU, the only thing remaining from ASU was just give us your transcript, right? That was the only thing remaining for him to send because the admission was almost there. He lost the scholarship, he lost the admission. Like, he came back to me, I was like, his school has really done, like, this one. I don't know. Like, he felt so bad, very bad. I felt for him. So just know when to send those requests to your school and try to follow up.
That sounds really sad. I feel for the guy. I feel for the guy really. Okay, so I'm guessing there's someone that's been going to Mastercard website, and the person is saying that ASU application are open, but whenever they click the link, it usually redirects them. So I think that happens. So what's the best, or how do I put the question? What's the best place to like really know the scholarship for ASU that is open? Because if I've been listening, you've mentioned that they have the one for certificates, then they have the one for masters, and they have the one for Rwanda. So is there a particular maybe link or site that people can go to that is like more how do I put it, easy for them concerning for this particular person that has an issue?
So that Mastercard Foundation website is not every time that it's being updated. But the person I would mention, search for Jessica on LinkedIn and follow her. Whenever any scholarship is up, you see it on her page. If you go to her profile right now, you see her post. It's more just focus on the scholarship. So once you check, anyone that is open, that is recent, you see it there. You see the link, everything. It's from her page, then it starts getting distributed to all the online scholarship portal. You see a lot of people posting it from there, they grab it from. So yeah, just follow her if you want ASU latest scholarship.
Okay, nice. One other question is, okay, I need clarification between ASU program at Kepler College in Rwanda and I'm guessing the one at US. Are they the same? They are not the same though. They are not the same. But can any one of you like maybe talk more, expatiate on that? I think Janet mentioned having some knowledge on
So
that.
they are the same. The course are the same. The lecturers, they are the same. Because whenever we have to do like a project, kind of, we get, connected with some other people from another country. I don't know where they are based, but we got it mixed with other people for project work. And we're using the same platform. We have like a platform to submit your tags. And of course, some of us still relate with other people on campus directly because a guy from Ethiopia has friends over there and they get to talk about the same course that we're doing. So the same course. I think the only flexibility that we have is that you can choose a course that you want for that semester. You can change, but for them, they can change It's like this is what you do this semester, and they're all into that. But for us now, you can choose to do one course this semester that's they're not doing, something like that. That's the only flexibility I can say. And there is always like what is it called? The call where you get to interact with your professor, you get to talk about any problem, any challenges that you're having. It's still the same professor that is teaching on campus that is also taking us. It's just the difference there is just you're not physically present with them, and that's just it. You get the same certificate. The certificate will not say you are in partnership with Kepler or something. Yeah, they are just like the partnership is just to ask some people for physical support, and probably maybe they don't have all the resources that will take the whole 80 for that year to the US. So some people should stay in Africa while they receive the same quality of education that the US are having. Yeah, so the location is just a difference, but the quality of education that we receive is still the same thing. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Okay, so I have a question. Like, if someone is watching this right now and they want to apply for the next cycle, what should they start working on now?
It depends on the level where you're at. If you're still in school, I recommend working on your grades. Work with building a relationship with your lecturers and professors. Join a fellowship or any particular forum in school that aligns with your career focus. You don't just need to join every and any club in school. Make sure it's one that actually aligns with where you want to go. And don't just join and be a floor member. Take up a leadership role. Create an impact that can speak for you even while you are outside of that institution. And then if you have the opportunity, you have the time, get certifications. You can go to Google, Coursera, get certifications. If you're in tech, join any of those clubs, any platform that they are offering free certifications. They are doing coding competitions. Join any of them. It might not be tech related. If you're in any field at all, look for those forums and platforms that actually relate to you and make sure you're getting things. If there's a body you need to join. And when you're out of school, keep building. Don't just stop, right? Just keep building, keep making impact. If you can start your own, maybe would I say something that you're building, maybe a foundation, a group of people, just creating that particular project, do it. And also make sure that people are aware of what you're doing, right? If you do a project or you do something, either start building your portfolio. If you don't have a portfolio website or don't have anywhere you're posting it, then go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your friend. There are lots of opportunity. I can't even start mentioning so many opportunities I've gotten from that platform right now. Start posting. And another thing I want to let you know is right now a lot of opportunities, a lot of things that come in are like people would want to see your social media history, like Janet mentioned earlier. They will want to trace, are you, so you need to be like very conscious of what you post. In fact, with America right now, even with your visa interview, they will check your social media history. So you really need to be very conscious of your social media, like what you do there, right? If you even have something there that is not supposed to be there, I would advise you go delete them and erase them. Make sure that your social media is more focused on your professional life. That's one thing. Build connections. The right connection matters. So just like Janet, if you're not following the right set of people, start following them. Connect with them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. There are a lot of people speaking about scholarships, speaking about different opportunities. Connect with them. Start like asking the right questions. If you don't have your transcripts, you're out of school, you don't have your transcript. That one, most schools, they take 5, 6 months to release transcripts. Start it right now. Start applying. Find a way to get your transcript, right? So these are like the few things, and then start putting together your CV. You can even start drafting your scholarship application. You don't even need to wait till that time. So if you know those things you've done in the past that you can use for your scholarship, open up a Google Drive, a Google folder. For me, like when I talk to my mentees, I'll be like, create a Google folder. Inside that Google folder, I want to see your transcripts. I want to see an Excel sheet of the different scholarships you're looking to apply for. I want to see certifications that you've done that are in line with this transcript. I want to see, even if it's pictures of the different projects you built, put it inside that folder. So when I open it, I'm seeing everything. When I'm reading your CV, I look at the project, those things you've written, everything tallies, right? So start putting together your CV and those write-ups of the different things you've done, so that when it gets to the scholarship application period, you're not just starting to start going up and down, sourcing for things. You will miss it. You will miss a lot of things. You will submit half-cooked application, and it's just like a waste of time because you're not prepared. So, like, these are like the few things I have. Okay, there are some more things that might come, but like this would be my advice for anyone wanting to start preparing.
This is a lot. This is, I guess, a lot of people have gotten things from it. Janet, do you have something to add?
Basically, that's just it. You just have to, get yourself prepared. You have a draft, bring up, like I advise people, you might not know the question, how the question will be like when, the application is open, but you can always have a draft of, okay, what you have done in your life. What have you done in terms of leadership? What are the things that you've done in terms of your academic projects and everything? Just put it up. So when the question comes, you have like a place to pick up from. Like you have what you have written before that can brush up. So that's just what I would say, because that was what I did. The whole SOP, I've already written something like SOP, just put everything together in one document. And because the same thing with Chibney also asks questions. There are questions that will guide your response. So whenever I get to that question part now, I go back to that my SOP, the one I've written in a document, and see the experience or the events that are actually related to that question, then start bringing them together as a story, brushing it up, making it better for convincing enough for somebody to accept as an essay. Yeah. And then talking about if you're still in school now, I will advise that you invest in volunteering and community service. Yeah, invest in volunteering. I think I was told that, but then I remember that in terms of leadership, I entered that place before, but just that the community service, I was like, okay, I just want to be on my own. Being on my own thing does not help you in terms of scholarship. Yeah, these people that they just want to be on their own, do their thing. If you want to apply to foundation, you can't do your own. It is a community. You must also have an impact in the community. You can't do your own thing. Maybe if you are applying for school slots, like the scholarship that are available directly in some schools, they might not ask you about community service and the likes. But when it comes to NGO foundation, they're very intentional about community. They don't want their impact to end with you, but you will help them to extend it. So invest time in volunteering, contributing to projects, community service. Yeah, just do it. And that will help you in your application process. Even when it's not Mastercard, in any application process, it will help you.
True, true. Wow. So we've talked a lot about what people should do. So I just want us to talk about what you think they should avoid. So what are some common mistakes that you think applicants should avoid while applying for the scholarship?
I would say, let your story, do not tell fake stories. That's number one. Make sure that your stories are true and you can always prove them. Make sure your essays are not AI generated. That's number two. Make sure that your recommendation letters are well signed and stamped. It can come from anyone. but signed, stamped, letter-headed. It proves authenticity and it proves that it's not something you forged. Make sure that your application, this is one tip I'm giving, inside tip. Don't submit too early. If they say this application is open from within 3 months, don't go and submit that first day application open. Phew, because you have everything, you go and submit. Don't do that. Submit in between. This is tips inside that. Submit in between. Don't submit last. Because the secret is when you submit too early, you'll be like, this person rushed. He's not really prepared yet anyway. When you submit last, this one was not really ready to just fall in between, right? Apply. Be really, really, if you get to the interview stage, don't go there dressed anyhow. Like that's really important. Make sure you're properly dressed. Make sure that you read your essay again before going to the interview, and your CV, you have everything in your head because you have to respond to some questions that might come up from that place. Another thing I would say is like we've spoken about social media. Let your social media page speak more of your professional life. Don't go and be putting things that are not supposed to be there, right? Make sure that those ones are there. What else would I say? Yeah, just be prepared. Then this scholarship can get to everybody if you're really ready. The target for Mastercard is to get to 100,000 scholars by 2030. The last time I checked, they are currently at 58,000 plus. So we have about how many thousand plus still open by 2030. So 100,000, that's not a small number. A lot of people will still get this scholarship. It can be you if you actually prepare well. So start putting your things together.
That's guys, these are you should have gotten that insider tip to when to submit. If you didn't get it, you might want to go back and listen well. Wow, this session has been a lot. So a question, a person from a French country with a French native language can apply, right? So far you're an African, you should be able to apply, right?
For ASU, if you can apply, so long as you can speak English and you can write in English. My friend that is from Cameroon, some part of Cameroon, they speak French. They have the Francophones, right, in Cameroon. Like, she got scholarship. So long as you can speak and write. But I know Mastercard have programs for Francophones. But I don't know what the programs are, but I know they have scholarship and programs are targeted at them too, even from Baobab. At Ed Plus, we have some programs that are more targeted to French-speaking countries. Well, as long as you're from Africa, you can actually apply for the scholarship. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So I think I just have one question for Janet, and then we'll come back to basically ending this session. So for Janet, we heard about how Esther's life was at ASU. So how is life at ASU for you currently?
Well, beautiful. The first thing is meeting new people. That's the beautiful thing. For me, as a then, it was my first time stepping out of Nigeria. So you can tell how excited I was, knowing that I'm going out of Nigeria and I want to meet people, try something new. So getting there, met other people from across Africa. And it's actually funny to learn about their language. And yeah, that's the beautiful part of it, because when they say something, you want to know the meaning, you want them to, want to teach them yours as well. And that was how the connection started with people learning about their country, they learning about yours. The community is like the first thing. And then another thing is, if you are not, maybe you are not this type of person that relates with people, it is not too good when you get to that kind of settings, because somebody might have something that you need That is just it. What you're looking for, somebody might actually have like a link or connection to it. And this journey of scholarship is not, of the scholar thing, is not a journey that you should walk alone. Relate with people, relate with your colleagues. It's not enough for you to be doing well academically. You can always have more in terms of, okay, maybe we can do project together. Is there a challenge? There's something that you think I can do with these tasks. Just relate with people, talk to them, speak with them. So for me, it was all that, learning new things, relating with new people, and the joy of, for my summer now, I traveled to another country for my summer, funded by Mastercard. So I'm presently in the United Kingdom actually, and it's like another big thing for me. Like, okay, I get to experience, another place, fully funded. Like she said, I got a laptop. The laptop I got now, it's like maybe I might not be able to buy the laptop myself with my own money, because you can tell it's a GPU laptop, and especially for people in IT, it's a GPU laptop, and all these things and Mastercard is always there for you all the way. I mean, when we're coming, you were like, you transport yourself to the airport, you paid for police to report, something like that. When we go back, like, we're all giving back all the money we spent for that. So since that time they gave you the admission, they will tell you that they are ready for every step you take right from there. And that was so good, because everything they're responsible, just call them, even all the monthly checkup, they're always there to ask you about your well-being, your mental health. Are you doing well? I could remember December, we're funded to go back home to have a nice time with family. Yeah, we're funded. So we all went home, we had, fun with family in December, and came back, with that energy to, these are rare things that's probably another scholarship might not offer. And Mastercard is just there to give you that peace, that sweetness. When you read, you read with peace, knowing that I don't have anything to worry about. That's the beautiful thing with being a Mastercard scholar, and they are always there to hear your worries. If you're not doing well academically, just speak with them. They will help you. They'll be like, okay, is there anything we can do to support you? Okay, can we reach out to your department? Or can you call yourself advisor? So that they can, don't just be a person with a closed mouth, because they are there to help you all the way. So that's the beautiful thing I found on this journey of the scholarship, actually.
Yeah. This has Wow, the journey sounds great. Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is really it. Never heard of a scholarship funding you back. Wow. Guys, you need to set up everything so that you can apply for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, and so that we too will have you here telling us about your own experience. Okay, so just one question here before your final question. And it's someone particularly from still a Francophone country. So this person is asking, do they require IELTS in ASU? That's one question. And the second question is still about I think it's still related, because this person is saying, I'm from Togo and I'm not fluent in English. Is there any English level required? So it's basically the same thing.
So for my application, ASU, there are a list of countries stated on the website that if you're from those countries, you do not need to provide IELTS or anything. They believe that you studied in English. You're an English-speaking country. So what I would advise is go to ASU website and search for your course. Under your course, you search for the English requirement and see if your country actually falls under the country that needs to provide any form of English certification. So that's one. For countries like Nigeria, what I used was my WAEC. If you have WAEC, so if you're from English-speaking country, you can use like your WAEC. That was what I provided. As long as if you have C6 is the least that you can have. So if you have up to six C6 in your as in your English, in your WAEC or NACO or whatever you wrote, you can use that as proof of English. Some people, what they do is they get a letter from their institution stating that they actually studied in English, right? You can also use that as proof of English, but it's also country specific. So you need to check for your country first and check for what they accept from your country before you know what to submit.
Thank you so much, Esther. This session has been very loaded, very loaded. So okay, before I go into the final question, just to address this question. So for ASU, they have specific courses that Mastercard Foundation sponsors. This correlates, right? Janet or Esther, this correlates, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have specific courses. So you might want to check those courses that are funded by Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. And for this person, this is for the postgraduate. Undergraduate for Mastercard Scholarship is a whole different thing. You can check the first session that we had with the Mastercard Foundation Scholar. We talked a little about undergraduate, so you can check that video if you want more info in that area. So my last question for you guys is, for people that want to apply this year or next year, what do you have to what would you want to tell them, or what would you want to like just give them as a final word on how to go about it, or what to look for? So I don't know.
I think I will start with saying that before applying for any scholarship, find out about your interest. What are you passionate about? Because it's not just about having this scholarship or any this degree. It's about how it impacts you, how it change you, how it help you get to where you want to be. So maybe some people might not need a scholarship, but because everybody is there seeking for scholarship, you also want to join the queue. Along the way, you might get frustrated, especially when they are, challenging tasks, deadlines are choking. You find some people actually crying like, this is getting intense and I don't think I can do this anymore. But one thing that keeps everybody going is the passion. Like, I know where I'm going, I want to keep going. And that is what will keep moving. So before applying for scholarship, where do you think your interest lies? Why are you choosing the scholarship? What do you intend to get out of this journey? So figure it out before applying for the scholarship. Now, applying for the scholarship itself, you still want to hold on to your why. Because all through that journey, your why will follow you. So for me, I think that is what actually stood out for me. Every time I'm about to do something, I just remind myself that, this journey won't end here because I know why I embarked on this journey. When deadline is choking, I have to keep going. When it feels like, why did I come for this scholarship? I can tell, you can tell when deadlines is choking and you don't just have time for yourself. It's always about who you have to submit a task. You have to do a project work. You have to do this. You have to do that. This is killing. This is that. This is this. But you remember that you have a place to be. You have a goal to achieve. So before applying for scholarship, find out about your interest, where your interest lies, and what you are passionate about. These are very important for that journey. Yeah. So that's what I will just leave everybody with.
And Esther?
Yeah, okay. I think this will be my last advice. Yeah, I would answer to something you mentioned earlier about Mastercard Foundation is you having the courses. So each year those courses change. They change each year, so you should just look out for what they have to offer each year. Like I mentioned, the AI program I did, they are no longer offering it. There are some courses they did last year that they are not giving this year again. So it depends on what their focus is for each year. So just look out for the flyer. On the flyer, they always list the course they are offering for that particular session or year. So, and for everyone that wants to apply, what I would tell you is a lot of people can qualify for the initial requirements to actually apply for the scholarship. But what can make you stand out from being just qualified to apply? It's one very important question you should ask yourself even before you start applying. Don't just apply because I meet all these requirements. Oh, I'm a graduate, I'm from Africa, I'm below 30 years old. I have first degree in information technology, so I can apply for information technology masters because it's on the list. What would make you stand out? Because thousands of people have the same qualifications you just listed, right? So you have to figure that out before you actually before you submit or start planning to submit the application. If someone else has the same qualification that I have, what's that one thing that can distinguish me? Do I need to have a portfolio? What if the person have a portfolio? What should I have in my portfolio that will make me stand out, like better than this person? So always think one step ahead, right? Do I need a good recommendation letter? Okay, yeah. So do I need how do I need a CV? Like I have seen people's CV. My God, 2024, early 2025, 2024, I reviewed CVs. I'm not joking. I reviewed more than 50 CVs for people and essays. Yes, I was so focused on. I will come back from class, and the next thing I'm having calls with people. I'm reviewing, and I did all that for free during when I was in school. Like I was reviewing essays, I was reviewing CVs, I was reviewing a lot, and people will send me their CVs. I'm like, is this what you want to submit? Like you're not getting this scholarship. Like I am telling you that with this CV, you're not getting this scholarship. Me, I'm using my math to grade them. Like you need to see people's CV. So please don't just submit any CV for scholarship. The CV you submit for a job is different from the CV you're submitting for scholarship. It's different. You want to submit scholarship CV, go online and search for scholarship CV formats and tailor your CV. Even the CV for American scholarship is different from that of Europe. Know the difference. There is a lot. There is a lot you need to learn. Like you need to be intentional about your application because this is a life investment that it's something that will transform your life ultimately. Like you cannot remain the same, right? Okay, look at Janet now from Rwanda. She's now in UK. From UK, who knows what else? Like she gets another opportunity. That's how Mastercard is. Like they open you up to a lot of opportunities. So if you know this is something that is going to impact you for a lifetime, why not sit down, give yourself time and plan yourself, right? There is my birthday was it on the 13th, and there's someone, a Mastercard scholar. He applied the previous year. He didn't get it. He was always disturbing them. Like he disturbed these people. He didn't get the scholarship. And so I told them, write to them again and like apologize because he was always disturbed. So he apologized and they told him they connected him to some people and he was just following up. When the scholarship came up again, they told him, oh, apply. And because of that connection he later built and the way he straightened things up, he got that of this current year. He came to me like he's always following me. Once I make people say, hey, I start like like, so he was able to like straighten out his path and all that. There are a lot of things that I can't even say. But what I'm saying is this is a lifetime opportunity that you can't miss. You do not want to miss. I mean, normally if I think about my life, I think back, I was like, Aisha, I wouldn't, there's no way I would be able to afford my master's. Even like not there's no way I would say which land would I want to go and say to now start funding the masters. I don't even have land to start with. So like you just need to sit down and if you really want to get a scholarship, maybe you're on a very tight schedule, like because of work, you're busy. Craft that time during your weekend and say, oh, so hour to so hour. I just want to focus on restructuring my CV. So hour to so hour. I want to focus on gathering all the evidence that I can use, or I want to focus on building a project or building my portfolio. So dedicate time to preparing everything you need. And I bet you the next application you will do, you're going to come out successful.
Thank you so much, Esther, and happy birthday in arrears too.
Okay.
Wow, it has been a lot. So this question just popped to me because many people now are applying for so many scholarships. So is it possible for someone to apply for multiple Mastercard Foundation scholarships in different universities? Is it allowed?
Yes. So each university is independent. Mastercard Foundation, each university is independent. Like their standing on their own. And so when you apply to this particular university, they do not have any business with the other university. Each of them have their focus, the number target students for each year, like what they are even offering, like what you're getting from ASU, the Mastercard Foundation ASU is different from the package from another institution, right? It's different from how they even do their housing, how they do the kind of laptop they give, and like everything is different. So you can apply to, even if it's 30 institutions, apply to all of them. If you meet the criteria, apply. But make sure that your essays cannot be the same because it's different focus, right? Your content of your recommendation letter cannot be the same, even if it's coming from the same person for the different universities. It cannot be the same. It has to be different and well focused and tailored to those universities and the courses that you're applying to. So also try to differentiate them.
Thank you so much. This has really been loaded. Esther and Janet, thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation with us and for being so open to share your experiences, how people can actually get these scholarships. And to everyone who joined us live, thank you for spending your Saturday evening with us. I'm sure you've learned a lot from two scholars. At least you should have been able to grab something. You can type in the comments, maybe an insight that you got today, something you learned, and if the session added value to it, you can just put it in the chat box. So if you found today's conversation useful, make sure you subscribe to the scholarship room so that you can always come back to this video. So you just go to the live and you see our session for today there. So once ASU opens this year, you have something to come back to and watch, and then prepare a very good application. And just to note, this is part of our August Masterclass series. So make sure you subscribe so that you'll be informed of the next Masterclass we'll be having. So once again, thank you so much, Esther and Janet, and thank you to everyone that joined us. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you at the next session of the Scholarship Room August Masterclass series. Bye.
Bye, everyone.